I thought I would come tonight and share my conversion slash a little bit of my vocation story. But I can't tell one without telling the other, so I'll start at the beginning and speed through it. Basically, I was raised with no religion. My mom's an atheist and my dad's an agnostic, so I grew up with no faith background. And when I got to about middle school and high school, people would ask me what religion I was and what I believed in, and I just hated the big R question. I would look down at my shoes and be like, oh my goodness, I don't know, and they'd say, well, where do you go to church? And I'd say, nowhere. And they'd say, well, where do you go to synagogue? I'd say, I don't go to synagogue. And they'd say, well, do you believe in God? And I'd say, I don't know. What do your parents think? Nothing. And so I just tried to get off the subject. I'd be so uncomfortable. And eventually, enough people were asking me these kind of questions that I decided I need to make a decision for myself, whether I believed in God or not. And the only way I could think to make a decision of some importance like this was to do some research. So I went to the library and I found the religion section and I brought out all the books I could find on, you name it, Muslim religion, Judaism, New Age stuff, anything I could find. I would just pour over these books. The simpler the better, because I was only 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. So I just read whatever I could find, and I'd get these stacks of library books, and my younger sister, I'd drag her along with me, and then afterwards she'd say, okay, can we go home? Well, I haven't quite finished reading through all these books, so let me just bring some home. I'd carry home my big stack, and when I'd get home, and I'd be worried my parents would see me finding out about religion, and I was worried, so I'd hide them under my bed or something. And so eventually, I was just reading about all different religions, but I was very intrigued by the Catholic Church, because I'd look at these pictures of these beautiful cathedrals in Europe, and I'd read about these claims like the Pope tells them what to do, like he has say in their lives, and the Eucharist. I'd say, Catholics really believe that little thing that looks like a piece of white bread flattened, they believe that's God, and I was completely overwhelmed by these teachings, but I was just sort of amazed and didn't take it personally. I just sort of was curious. And so fast forward a little bit, and then after I graduated from high school, I started asking other people, what they believed. So I'd go around, and it started with just a couple of close friends. I'd say, well, do you really believe in God? I know you're a Catholic, but do you really believe in God? And I'd sort of get different people's opinions on things. Next thing you know, I was asking people in the supermarket, do you believe in God? Just anyone I could find, I would want to know what they thought and why. Just sort of take a poll of the opinions out there and what people believed. And so after I graduated, I had the opportunity to study dance in England for 6 weeks. And back up a little bit, all throughout high school, I went to a performing arts school, and I did a lot of singing, acting, and dancing. That was sort of the high point of my life, just performing in shows on the weekend and stuff like that. So I was studying dance in England, and while I was there was a chaperone for the program that happened to be Catholic, that at one point, I guess I'd asked her what she believed in and why. So she told me later that she put it off for weeks, and finally it was towards the last week, we were about to leave. She got up the courage, she's like, I just wanted to mention this. You don't feel pressured, but if you ever wanted to, I don't know, perhaps come around from did you just invite me to Mass on Sunday? And she's like, no, never mind, take it back, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry, I should never presume, just forget I said anything. It's like, can we go right now? She's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I've always wanted to go to see a Catholic Mass. I've never been inside a Catholic church. And I just, can we please go? She's like, no, we'll just wait till Sunday. She's kind of what kind of Jack in the Box did I let out of the box? She's a little strange. So Sunday morning, I got up super early, and I put on my best clothes. I was really, really excited. I was like, can we go, can we go, can we go? Okay. So we had to walk a number of miles because there was no Catholic churches around. It was a very Protestant area. We finally get to this little rundown church, and we walk inside, and we're just this is a really special place. I could just feel it was a different sort of place. I felt really dirty, and it's just a very holy place. And so we walk in, and lo and behold, the Mass starts, and I'm just wow, this is just like a show, check this out. I can do that choreography, I can do this kind of stuff. And we got the actors up there in these costumes. They're kind of nice, and oh, okay. So do you have a script or something? So she pulls out, the missal, and she's helping me follow along. I'm like, okay, I can get into this. It's kind of neat. And the Mass progresses, and by the end of it, I'm just like, wow, that was so neat. And everything I read about the Catholic Church being universal when I was back in the States, I was like, well, that claim, they certainly lived up to that, because this is the exact same Mass they, is back in the States. All the books I had read back there, this is what they're doing in England, too. That's pretty neat. And with an English accent. I like accents.